at a public college that was majority African American, or just about equally split, and then did my graduate work on the south side of Chicago. Also, again, needing some big city experience with folks that lots of people that looked very much different from myself. And my work here as a pastor has been involved with a number of racial justice issues, equal rights for gay and lesbian people as well, because I think rights are rights, and there's very much difference in relation to particular needs and the way to go about those, but it's a bottom line in relation to people who are all human beings. But I've been saved along the way by countless people, but we all have those lessons in our lives, and one of those, I was in seminary. We were working on racial justice issues. We worked on a lot of apartheid issues in seminary, trying to get the seminary to divest, et cetera. But this was working on racial justice issues. And a good friend of mine, an African-American student, was sitting next to me in chapel, of all places. Something racist happened in chapel, which it happens all the time, of course, in church and so forth. But it missed me. I wasn't, at that point, tuned in enough to know what was going on. But my friend left. He just left in a huff. And I sought him out afterwards and said, what was going on? And he said to me what happened. I said, well, in all my whiteness, I said, well, why didn't you just stay there and deal with it? Let us know what was going on. And he looked at me like I was the stupidest person on earth, which I pretty much was. And he said, I had two choices. I could either leave or start throwing chairs. And at that point, I realized how little I knew and how deep this was. This was a long time after Rosa Parks. We're a longer time after Rosa Parks, but there is still so much in so many people. It's institutional, obviously, that's where it gets its power, but there's so much in so many people, and especially in a number of people who want to say that we're in a post-racial era, which is dangerous. And so I think, yes, there's not the dramatic instances of the kind of racism and discrimination, certainly that there was, but it is still the sea in which we swim, and I think it's still something that needs our constant attention, lest we just slip backward rather than go forward.
Thank you, Reverend. Francisco?
Thank you. I hope I have his mic in the right place here. My name is Francisco Miguel Vega. I was born in what some people consider a foreign country. It's called Texas. I was born in San Antonio in 1922. So if you have your math, I'm closer to 90 than I am to 75. I don't feel like it. Good. But just to give you a very personal feeling, since I came into this room, I came in with a feeling of humility and pride, because I am very much aware of the struggles of racism, discrimination, but also of what Rosa Parks did. It didn't take me very long that my humility was left out. I felt pride, and I do feel it right now, that I am part in seeing people. I'm in Robinson. I congratulated Ellen. She's on the Human Relations Commission. You may have another name for that. I was on the Community Relations. And I congratulated her because you have excellent staff, but until you get someone like Ellen to use those skills and bring us here today into this program, I just had to thank her. I came here in 1946, right after World War II. And I'll just cover very briefly that I am part of the problem. I've been exposed to it. I could not use my name in San Antonio. My mother was born in Mexico, Saltillo. My father was born in Texas, in Rio Grande City. His family was there while Texas was still part of Mexico. My mother graduated from teachers college in Mexico. So education has always been a big part in our family. But still in San Antonio, I could not use my name. I was called Mike. And some of you have experienced that, exactly what that means. Racism, discrimination, identifiable as minority, going to stay as minority. But I finally, in 1938, I was going to go to a private school, Catholic school, military school, by choice. And when Dad and I talked about it, I said, Dad, I'm using my name. And it was the first time that I could use my name. All the records that I have as far as elementary school, junior high school are Mike. And people today still know me as Mike. But it was always within me, not in anger, but I think I was ready to fight at a moment's notice. I just share that with you because what I'm going to be talking about is personal experience. I'm not pointing fingers at anyone, but I know that we're in a community that I like very much. I like the opportunities that they have, dedication to family values, to the school system education. There are many, many wonderful values. At the same time, it is not something we can stop and just admire. We have to keep working at it. Remember in San Antonio that we were told not to have a Bible in the house. Born Catholic, we have priests in the family and so on, but we always question everything. And I remember finally I had to work in Kansas City, in a conversation with the Archbishop there, that came up, and I said, no, I'm not familiar with that part of the Bible. I said, we never had one in the house. And he said, well, why not? I said, well, we were told if we did have one, we would be excommunicated. I don't know what that word means, I mean, even now. But even then it was scary. And this Archbishop, they said, well, you come back tomorrow. And he gave me a Bible, a big red leather-covered Bible. And it was the beginning of seeing that this Catholic Church organization is not something that is just one idea that travels around the world. There are many nuances to it, and many of them are racial. When on December 7th, 1941, one of the things I did was go hunting early in the morning south of San Antonio with a very good friend of mine, and we'd get rabbits, bring them back, clean them, and give them to the people. We're coming out of a depression, a recession that I lived through it. And I worked for 10 cents a week for 2 weeks at that time. Not that I had to. We never went on what we call relief or welfare. But that was a time, and I remember after 2 weeks, and what I had to do, the Sundays were, you're supposed to close all the stores. That was part of Roosevelt's method of helping us get out of what the problems were. And you could not sell potatoes. They dyed all the potatoes purple so that they could not be sold. But this man had a store, and he asked me if I would be there on Sunday and sell some milk through a little door. I would get paid 10 cents for the week and some bread and milk, I guess it was. So I did it more out of curiosity, and that I've always worked for myself, really. So it's an opportunity. But I think 2 weeks later, my mother said, there's another person that needs that job more than you do. And he said, would you let him know that you're going to be stopping? So I did. On December 7th, I came back from hunting. I would go to Mass at noon. I'm just going to give you an introduction very briefly. I don't want to take the time, but I just want to let you know, yes, there are many questions I can answer for you. I served in the military. And that morning of December 7th, Dad would come in and try to wake me up. I said, we don't have to go to Mass until noon. And because we were hunting at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. So when he came back about the third time, he said, we didn't have television at the time, no computers, radio. And he said, there's something on the radio about pearls, and they keep talking about pearls. And I didn't know what it was. And he said, then he came back and says, it's something with Japan. So there was a bombing of Pearl Harbor. That afternoon I received, and I'll stop on this comment just to give you an idea of the exposure to this, what we're talking about, and why I feel pride in being here. That afternoon, Mother's oldest brother from Mexico, and our family has been involved in the military in both countries. And this Uncle Valentin called and he said, you've heard the news? I said, yes. He says, your country is being attacked. He says, do not wait to be called.